Have you ever thought that the biggest threat to your health after 60 might not be disease at all, but the small, everyday habits you hardly notice? Here's the shocking truth. Researchers say that more than 40% of health problems in seniors are caused not by age itself, but by hidden lifestyle choices. Things as simple as what you eat for breakfast, how long you sit in your favorite chair, or even how often you reach for the salt shaker can quietly chip away at your strength, your independence, and even your years of life. And the scariest part? Most seniors never realize the damage until it's too late. So stay with me, because in this video, we're going to uncover 9 daily habits that may seem harmless, but can quietly harm your health and your future. Some of them will surprise you. By the end, you'll not only know what to avoid, but you'll also have practical tips you can start using today to protect your longevity and live with more confidence. Let me tell you about Robert, a 74-year-old retired teacher who always prided himself on eating light. For breakfast, he'd have a piece of toast and coffee. Lunch might be a bowl of soup. Dinner, often just a salad. He thought he was doing the right thing by keeping meals small and avoiding heavy foods. But what Robert didn't realize was that he was quietly starving his muscles. By skipping protein at almost every meal, his body began to lose the very building blocks that kept him strong. Over time, he noticed his arms getting weaker, and climbing the stairs left him more winded than before. One morning, he tripped on a step he'd walked up for decades. That fall left him with a painful sprain, and the realization that his light eating wasn't as harmless as he thought. The truth is, after 60, your body needs protein more than ever. It's not about building bulky muscles. It's about preserving the strength to stand, walk, carry groceries, and protect yourself from falls. Without enough protein, the muscles shrink, the bones weaken, and your independence slowly slips away. But here's the good news. You don't need a drastic diet overhaul. A boiled egg at breakfast, a piece of grilled fish at lunch, or a handful of beans or lentils at dinner can make a world of difference. Think of protein as daily armor for your body. It's what allows you to keep moving, keep living, and keep doing the things you love. So ask yourself, are your meals giving you the strength you need, or slowly taking it away? Think about how easy it is to settle into your favorite chair after breakfast. Turn on the TV, and before you know it, hours have gone by. That's exactly what happened to Doris, a 78-year-old widow who loved her afternoon soap operas. She'd sit down after lunch, planning to watch just one episode. But one turned into 3, and soon it was dinner time. At first, Doris thought she was just relaxing. But over the months, her body started to change. Her legs felt heavy when she stood up. Her ankles swelled more often. She noticed that her energy was fading, and one day, after standing too quickly, she nearly fainted from poor circulation. Her doctor explained that long stretches of sitting had slowed her blood flow, raised her risk of blood clots, and quietly weakened her heart. This is the danger of prolonged sitting after 60. It doesn't just stiffen your joints. It quietly increases the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and even stroke. Your body is designed to move, and when it doesn't, it begins to shut down piece by piece. The solution isn't to give up your chair or your favorite shows. It's to break the stillness. Every 30 to 45 minutes, stand up, walk to the kitchen for a glass of water, stretch your arms, or even march in place for a minute or two. Those tiny breaks reset your circulation, wake up your muscles, and keep your body alive with energy. Doris eventually made a small change. She set a kitchen timer for 40 minutes every afternoon. Each time it rang, she got up, walked around her living room, and stretched. Within weeks, her swelling decreased, her legs felt lighter, and she had more energy to enjoy her evenings. How often are you letting the hours slip away while your body stays stuck in one position? Sometimes the smallest movements can be the key to keeping your independence. Now let's talk about something so simple that most people dismiss it: drinking water. Many seniors I've met say the same thing. I don't want to drink too much because I'll be running to the bathroom all night. That was exactly the case for James, 81, who proudly told his daughter he barely drank more than a single glass of water a day. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. But soon, James started feeling dizzy when he stood up. His skin grew dry, his mouth was constantly parched, and one morning, he couldn't remember where he had left his keys, a moment that scared both him and his daughter. His doctor later explained that dehydration wasn't just making him tired, it was clouding his memory and putting strain on his kidneys and heart. Here's the quiet danger. As we age, our sense of thirst weakens. That means by the time you actually feel thirsty, your body's already running low on water. And dehydration doesn't just make you uncomfortable, it increases the risk of urinary tract infections, constipation, confusion, and even hospital visits for something that could have been prevented. But staying hydrated doesn't mean chugging huge glasses of water and running to the bathroom all night. The secret is steady, small sips throughout the day. A glass with breakfast, a cup of herbal tea mid-morning, a little water with lunch, and another in the afternoon. Stop heavy drinking right before bed, but don't starve your body of what it desperately needs. James eventually changed his routine. He kept a small pitcher of water on the table next to his crossword puzzles. Every time he filled in a few answers, he took a sip. Within weeks, his energy improved, his mind felt clearer, and those dizzy spells faded away. So ask yourself, are you really giving your body the water it needs to thrive, or are you quietly letting dehydration steal your strength? If you've ever reached for that can of soup or frozen dinner thinking it's the easy choice, you're not alone. That was Margaret's routine after her husband passed away. At 76, she didn't feel like cooking much anymore, so she leaned on boxed meals and salty snacks. They were quick, convenient, and didn't leave dishes in the sink. But slowly, Margaret's body began to tell the truth. Her ankles swelled, her blood pressure crept higher, and she found herself feeling unusually tired after simple tasks like folding laundry. When her doctor ran some tests, the culprit was clear: too much sodium from those processed foods. What she thought was just a little convenience was quietly straining her heart and kidneys every single day. Here's the thing. After 60, your body doesn't handle salt the same way it used to. Excess sodium traps fluid, raises blood pressure, and damages blood vessels. Pair that with processed foods full of preservatives and hidden sugars, and you've got a recipe for heart disease, strokes, and a shorter, less independent life. But just like Margaret discovered, the fix doesn't require fancy diets or hours in the kitchen. She started swapping her canned soup for fresh vegetable broth, sprinkling herbs like garlic and basil instead of reaching for the salt shaker, and saved packaged snacks for an occasional treat instead of a daily habit. Within a few months, her blood pressure dropped, and she said she felt 10 years younger. The truth is, food can either be quite poison or quite medicine. Every bite is a choice toward healing or harm. So think about what's in your pantry. Are those foods fueling your strength, or are they quietly sabotaging it one meal at a time? Have you ever noticed how one bad night of sleep can make the whole next day feel heavier? Now imagine that happening again and again. That's what happened to Carl, a 71-year-old who thought he was managing fine on 5 or 6 hours of sleep. He'd fall asleep in his recliner with the TV humming, wake up at 2 in the morning, and then toss and turn until dawn. At first, he shrugged it off, just part of getting older. He thought, but over time, little things started to change. He forgot appointments more often. He stumbled on the front steps one afternoon because his reflexes weren't sharp. And when his daughter asked why he seemed so irritable, Carl realized his short fuse wasn't who he used to be. Science backs this up. Poor sleep doesn't just leave you groggy, it weakens your immune system, raises your risk for heart problems, and even accelerates memory loss. And here's the tough truth. After 70, your body is more sensitive to these effects than ever before. The good news? Just like Carl discovered, small changes can rebuild the rhythm your body craves. He turned off screens an hour before bed, switched his afternoon coffee to herbal tea, and created a calming bedtime ritual, reading in a soft chair with warm lamplight. Within weeks, he noticed his mornings felt steadier, and his family noticed he had his spark back. Sleep isn't wasted time, it's repair time. And when you protect your nights, you're protecting your independence, your memory, and your health in ways no pill can replace. So the question is, what kind of routine are you giving your nights right now? One that restores you, or one that slowly wears you down? There's a kind of hunger that food can't touch, the hunger for connection. Ruth, at 78, knew this all too well. Her husband had passed a few years earlier. Her children lived in different states, and slowly, the phone stopped ringing as often. Days blurred together. She told herself she was fine, but inside she felt smaller, lonelier, and less alive. It wasn't until she skipped her weekly church gathering for the third month in a row that a neighbor knocked on her door and asked if she was okay. Ruth admitted she hadn't felt like seeing anyone. That's when she realized isolation had crept into her life like a silent thief. And she's not alone. Studies show that seniors who feel socially isolated face higher risks of depression, memory decline, and even shorter lifespans. The brain, just like the body, weakens when it doesn't get exercise through conversations, laughter, and simple human connection. But here's the hopeful part. When Ruth joined a local walking group at her park, everything began to change. She started looking forward to Tuesday mornings, sharing stories as she strolled, and laughing more than she had in years. Her energy lifted, her sleep improved, and her sense of purpose returned. All from choosing connection instead of isolation. The truth is, mental and emotional health is just as vital as eating well or staying active. Picking up the phone to call a friend, writing letters to your grandchildren, or saying yes to a community group can be as healing as any medicine. So ask yourself, are you nourishing your mind and heart the same way you nourish your body? Because protecting your social and emotional well-being might just be the most powerful habit of all for a long, fulfilling life. One of the quietest but most dangerous habits after 60 is withdrawing from people. Maybe you tell yourself it's easier to stay home, that phone calls take too much energy, or that you don't want to be a burden. But over time, isolation doesn't just make days quieter, it makes them heavier. Take Mr. Allen, 75, who used to love telling stories at family dinners. After his wife passed away, he started spending most of his days alone. At first, it felt peaceful, but weeks turned into months and his world grew smaller. He stopped remembering the punchlines to his favorite jokes, and even the simple joy of gardening felt like too much. What he thought was just getting older was actually the creeping shadow of loneliness and depression. Science confirms this. Seniors who live in isolation face a much higher risk of memory, decline, and dementia. The brain, just like the body, needs exercise, and conversations, laughter, and even small interactions act like vital workouts. Without them, the mind can fade faster than anyone expects. But there's a way back. When Mr. Allen finally joined a local book club at his library, he felt something awaken again. The discussions stretched his mind, the laughter lifted his spirit, and the friendships gave him purpose. It wasn't about filling time, it was about filling life. So if you find yourself spending too many days in silence, consider making one small change. Call an old friend. Join a walking group. Say yes to that church outing or community class. Because protecting your social and emotional health isn't just about staying busy, it's about staying alive in every sense of the word. Staying active after 60 is one of the best gifts you can give yourself. But here's the catch. The wrong kind of exercise can quietly do more harm than good. Many seniors, eager to stay strong, push themselves with workouts their bodies can no longer handle. That's what happened to Linda, 72, who joined a high-intensity aerobics class at her local gym. At first, she felt proud of keeping up with the younger group. But within weeks, her knees began to ache, her back stiffened, and one morning she nearly lost her balance stepping off the treadmill. What she thought was building strength was actually wearing her body down. The reality is, after 70, our joints, muscles, and balance systems are more fragile. Overexertion doesn't just cause soreness, it can trigger falls, fractures, and injuries that take months, even years, to heal. And sometimes, one bad fall can change independence forever. But the solution isn't to stop moving, it's to move smarter. Linda eventually traded in her aerobics class for Tai Chi at the community center. She started walking with a neighbor in the mornings and added gentle yoga stretches at home. Within a few months, she felt stronger, her balance improved, and she no longer dreaded her workouts. The key is to listen to your body. Movement should leave you energized, not exhausted. If you finish a session feeling drained or in pain, that's a sign to adjust. Exercises like walking, yoga, swimming, or Tai Chi aren't just gentle. They're powerful tools for protecting your joints, calming your mind, and keeping you independent. So ask yourself, are you exercising to thrive or pushing so hard that you're slowly breaking yourself down? The difference could mean years of freedom in your later life. Sometimes the most dangerous choice is the one that feels easiest, skipping regular checkups because nothing seems wrong. That's exactly what happened to Mrs. Thompson, 71, who prided herself on being healthy. She walked every day, ate her vegetables, and rarely even caught a cold. So when her daughter reminded her to schedule her annual exam, she brushed it off, saying, "Why waste the time? I feel fine." But one morning, she woke up with blurry vision in one eye. At first, she thought it was fatigue, but the problem didn't go away. A doctor's visit revealed advanced glaucoma, something that could have been detected and slowed years earlier if she hadn't skipped her eye exams. For Mrs. Thompson, what she thought was saving time ended up costing her part of her independence. That's the danger of ignoring preventive care. Many conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, osteoporosis, don't show obvious symptoms until they're already causing harm. And once the damage is done, it's often too late to reverse fully. The good news is that simple habits can make a significant difference. Mrs. Thompson now keeps her annual screenings on a calendar, treats them like important appointments she can't miss, and brings a notebook to track results. She told her friends it's like checking the foundation of a house. If you ignore small cracks, they can become disasters. So here's the real question. When was the last time you had your blood pressure, blood sugar, or vision checked? Don't wait for a crisis to remind you. Preventive healthcare isn't about fear. It's about protecting the life and independence you've worked so hard to build. When you look back at these 9 habits, they may seem small on the surface: skipping protein, sitting too long, forgetting to drink water, reaching for processed foods, letting sleep slide, ignoring your emotional and social needs, pushing too hard with the wrong exercises, and avoiding preventive care. But together, they form a quiet pattern that can steal years from your life and take away the independence you've worked so hard to keep. The good news is that none of these changes require perfection. They only ask for awareness and small, steady steps. Add a little protein to your plate. Stand up and stretch after half an hour. Keep a glass of water nearby. Choose herbs over salt. Protect your nights with good sleep. Pick up the phone to call a friend. Move your body with kindness, not punishment. And never, ever skip the checkups that can save your health before a crisis begins. Your life after 60 is not meant to be about shrinking or surviving. It's about thriving with energy, purpose, and dignity. These choices aren't about restriction, they're about freedom. Freedom to walk without fear of falling. Freedom to laugh and remember without hesitation. Freedom to wake up each morning knowing your body and mind are working with you, not against you. So let me ask you, out of these 9 habits, Which one do you see yourself in the most? Drop the number in the comments below, because your story might inspire someone else to change theirs. And if you've learned something valuable here today, give this video a like, share it with a friend who needs to hear it, and subscribe with the bell turned on so you never miss what's coming next.